7 Japanese and English Otome games I think are underrated out of the 60 I've played, and I think too few people are gushing about, but you should know them. 7 Reine de Fleurs. As this game is breathtakingly beautiful, some might say it's as beautiful on the outside as it's ugly on the inside. But I disagree. In Reine de Fleurs, you take the role of the queen of something like the Flower Kingdom, who gets magical support from 4 hot knights as she tries to equally divide magical power between the 4 flower countries to prevent the flowers from withering. But this duty turns out to be more heavy than expected, and the world they live in turns out to be more twisted and hopeless than expected. When you start the game, it seems like a cute fantasy setting, but the more you progress, you more find out how dark this world actually is, and how hopeless and desperate the situation is you are in. But this game is infamous for its 40 endings. And as someone who enjoys a good bad end, I'd say they are absolutely worth playing, to encounter despair in all possible forms. My favorite character is Ghislaine, a sister tsundere who doesn't like the heroine in the beginning, but then turns out to be one of the most passionate and kind characters of the game. And the drama was so perfect for me in his route. Very similar from this character and his circumstances, like Eon in Radiant Tale. I really loved this gentle giant with a soft core and a very tragic fate kind of character. So angry guy turns soft and his passion turns toward the heroine. Absolutely love it. Overall, I was satisfied with the romance, though it could feel slightly rushed and shallow in some routes. And in these routes, the plot seemed to be the focal point of the route, though each character also has his own problems to solve together with the heroine. So despite some negative reviews, I was personally very pleased with this game. A game with a tragic fantasy plot, almost no happy endings for some characters, with some sweet yet lightly shallow romance. And conclude that it not only looks beautiful but also is a beautiful game. Place number 6. The villainess is adored by the prince of the neighboring kingdom already is a hidden gem to me. While this game is very short with roughly 20 hours and only one route, I'm still surprised literally no one is talking about it and gushing about this game, though I think it's absolutely adorable. This game is the kinetic novel game adaptation of a light novel and manga of the same name, where our heroine is reborn in the Otome game she loved, but as the villainess. And despite all her efforts, she wasn't able to escape any event of the game so far, and now awaits to be exiled by her former fiancé and prince of the country. But to everyone's surprise, in this fatal scene, the prince of the neighboring country, Aquastide, steps in, defends her and proposes to her. And finally, her fate seems to take a better turn, though the heroine of the Otome game poses an obstacle to her perfect happy ending. The game basically starts with the engagement and gets only sweeter and sweeter with each chapter you play, as Prince Aquastide woos his beloved. And I would think that also the players would be swiftly swept off their feet as soon as Aquastide turns on his charm and drowns you in compliments, hugs and kisses. This game is a pure sugar shock. But I also have to admit that the love development is rather on the superficial side and won't live up to some deep emotional narratives you might have already read. But if you can live with only one route and with a light and sweet love story, I feel this game is such a treat. It's not perfect by all means, but definitely underrated for what it is. A short, sweet sugar shock, but more about it in my full review. Number 5. One game I keep annoying everyone with is Ephemeral Fantasy on Dark. It was my first Otome game, so I definitely have a very strong bias in favor of this game. It's another short and sweet little game I wished more people played when they just need some sugar in their Otome life. And we all do need that sometimes, right? In Ephemeral, the zombie heroine attends a prestigious high school together with all different fantasy races and favorite Otome tropes. We have the tsundere werewolf, Ore-sama vampire, Shota invisible man, and my personal favorite, the yandere mummy. And not only does this game have an amazing voice cast, with Tsukuyomi from Olympia Soiree, Himeka from Olympia Soiree, Jinya from Radiant Tail, and Orlok from Pure Fiore. It's your perfect little Otome game with these perfectly executed tropes everyone loves, with a lot of sweet and steamy moments, as this game is purely character driven. The first half of the route is how they get together, and then the second half you see their life in their relationship. So these 20 hours are packed with sweetness in a fantasy school. 4 is another game that quickly goes under everyone's radar, especially when talking about steamy games, and that is Chou no Doku, or Butterfly Poison. And just like the Villainess and Ephemeral, you can play this game in English and Japanese, which is pretty cool, but that's not the main reason why I recommend it here. Chou no Doku tells the story of the downfall of a noble family in the Taisho era in Japan, and how our self-confident, strong-willed heroine falls for different kinds of taboo relationships. There's the childhood friend who has a fiancé, the older butler, the brother, the man who tries to buy her love with the money, and the gardener. All very hot but also very taboo relationships. And as this game is on the slightly shorter side with around 30 hours, the plot cuts right to the chase, and while the romance isn't rushed at all, it also doesn't drag at all, and after a few hours you'll find yourself in bed with a taboo man, enjoying some steamy moments while you discover the truth about the downfall of your family. This game is for everyone who yearns for mature themes, passionate and steamy love, but also can stomach darker topics. The next game has been one of the early localizations together with Code Realize or Collex Malice, and yet the fewest people continue to gush about it. And that game is Café Enchanté. In Café Enchanté, the heroine inherits the cute café from her grandpa, and quickly finds out this is not an ordinary café, but a café for mystical creatures visiting from various fantasy worlds. We have the Otome-obsessed angel, the tsundere fire beast, the gentle but headless knight, the demon king, and a human who is supposed to watch over this bunch of weirdos. And in the middle of this chaos is the emotionally intelligent heroine, who rescues the allies from their dire fate that is waiting for them in each world. I often hear this game being criticized for having low sugar content, would also hold me back the longest time from playing it. And while I agree that the game focuses on the plot, it still has a lot of sweet moments displaying their mutual support, and how much the ally needs the heroine's love in order to overcome his problems. So I feel that the plot is about love itself, just clad in different fantasy stories. Yet these stories turn out pretty dark and pretty tragic, or even brutal, and are nothing for the faint of heart, but still emphasizes that love can rescue the characters out of their dire situation. I wonder why this game is so rarely recommended. I think it's enjoyable for everyone who loves intricate fantasy world building and the kind of love that expresses itself in unyielding support, no matter the cost. Little break for my honourable mention. I'm not sure if this game is underrated yet because it was just recently released, but I feel it will become an underrated game because it's a short and sweet slice of life game you can so far only purchase in Japan, though it has an English localization that is not bad, that is actually pretty good. Though it is the first localized Otome game of that company, Mint Lab, that usually makes drama cities. And this game is one of my new favorite games, Hana Kare, or Him, His Smile and Bloom. Hana Kare has a pretty unique setup with 4 heroines who each date one of the allies who all work in the same flower shop. And as colorful as the flowers are, as colorful, varied and sweet are the love stories Hana Kare tells. We have love with an age gap, love between childhood friends, love with someone who hasn't loved before, and a fateful first high school love between good girl and bad boy. And all of these love stories are so moving and delicate and touch your heart without unnecessary, exaggerated, tasteless drama. But the characters in this game feel like real people, are so relatable that you're sure to find a heroine where you go like, wow, that girl is actually me. She's exactly like me. And find a love story that resonates with you, that may embody your ideal relationship. And all this in a 20-hour game is pretty great achievement if you ask me. So maybe Hana Kare even is the best game on this list. And as I said, this game is based on drama cities that tell the love stories from the male point of view, while the game tells the stories from the female point of view. So I highly recommend everyone who enjoyed the game to try out the drama cities, though they are in Japanese only. And while you can get them, like the game, on Amazon Japan, or CD Japan. The easiest way would probably be the L site. A site famous for R18 PC games, so be careful. Or where you can snatch the Japanese version of Hana Awase for like €3. But they also sell all the Minschlip drama CDs and a whole lot of other drama CDs for all that matters digitally and for a very competitive price. So you don't need to handle shipping or custom fees. Definitely the easiest and most convenient way to get your hands on the drama CDs. On the L side, they currently have a winter sale, but if you want to make a purchase, it's currently a bit complicated, so let me show you. You have to click on your account and then My Page. From there on the left side, you click on Purchase Points and then for books. Make sure you don't follow any weird links, but only official DL site links. But no matter if you want to buy the game, on the drama CDs I have links in my description so you can navigate through the Japanese jungle hopefully more easily. Long story short, buy the game, get the drama CDs, and you lose yourself in the flowery love of Hana Kare. Place 2 is my new favorite hidden gem, and I'm so happy it got a localization. And that is Genso Manege. In Genso Manege, the heroine starts working in an amusement park in the endeavor to awaken her magical powers and free her co-workers who are bound to the amusement park by magic and could otherwise never leave the park again. This game looks so cute and light and happy, but it's the absolute opposite. It's dark, heavy, and sad, even brutal at times. In each route, the heroine can save one ally, but also facing his personal background and problem. And with that, the game is fairly character driven, finding out the truth about the character's history, as well as the truth about the amusement park. But it's not only the uncanny contrast between the beautiful art and sad story that makes this game so unique, but also the sweet, sweet love stories, of course. The love stories in Genso Manege are emotional and pure, and at the same time feature countless sweet moments, from kabedon to protecting or accidentally touching hands and blushing. So many sweet scenes that made me scream during my full review as well. And lastly, my favorite underrated game. Unless you've watched my channel long enough, no one else talks about. Unless I've already pressured you enough to give this game a try. And that is otherwise totally forgotten. And this game is no other than Tengai ni Mao. This is like a spiritual successor to Hanayaka, where the heroine starts working in a household with 5 mean brothers aspiring to take over the family restaurant. And while the heroine's biggest flaw is to always run away when things get complicated, the LIs make up for that with their charm, their innocent flirting, their first love shyness and blushing, or their sprites in revealing nightgowns. This is one of the rare games where I love every LI, as they're either a cute, lovable and passionate from the beginning, or they tell a great character development from mean to sweet. So if you like kinda quirky and clumsy love development with unintentionally steamy scenes sprinkled with a bit of admittedly unnecessary drama, I hope you'll enjoy Tengai ni Mao as much as I did. And if these games don't satisfy you yet, have a look at all the new releases waiting for you, like a sequel everyone was hoping for, but no one believed it would ever come true.